Lori Friedman, and I am the Community Programs Coordinator here at Austin Community College. One of the programs I work with here at ACC is floral design. And so with the holiday season upon us, we thought it would be fun to demo some do-it-yourself ideas for your holiday planning. I'm going to walk you through how to create your own holiday table centerpiece and also how to design a wreath as decor in your house or apartment. So we'll just dive right in. So arrangement 1 is a centerpiece. With a centerpiece arrangement, you want the arrangement to be short and compact so that the guests can converse with each other across the table. So you start with a vase that's approximately 5 inches tall, and you need to create some sort of grid on the top to hold the flowers. So I'm going to use a hydrangea. You give the hydrangea a little snip so that it's sitting right on the top of the vase, and then you have your grid. If you cannot find a hydrangea easily at your local grocery store or floral shop, there's a couple other tricks that you can do. One of them is you take a vase that is solid, that you can't see through, and you take some chicken wire, you ball it up into a ball, tuck it in there, and then you'll have a nice grid on the top there to use. Or another option is you can take a glass vase and you can grid with clear tape right onto the top. You make a tic-tac-toe sort of shape, and then you have a grid. But if you want to get a little bit jazzy for the holidays, you can use scrapbooking tape, and you can go ahead and go all the way around the vase in the full grid, and then you'll have a decoration as well as a grid for your vase. But for this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and use the hydrangea. So that's your first flower. So you go ahead and you set it in there so it's sitting right on the top of the vase. The next thing we need to do is we need to create some length, because remember, we don't want it tall, we want it to go out wide. So you use flowers that are sort of long and lean. So this is stock. I'm going to use some stock flower, and I'm going to go ahead, give it a cut, clean off all extra dead leaves because you don't want those in the water, and I'm going to insert them diagonally. If I put them straight up, they're going to be straight up and down. I want to create length, so I'm going to just place them in a diagonal. I'm going to use three stock flowers. Generally, we operate in the rule of 3 to give it a nice symmetry, give it some nice balance. So we'll put 1, 2, and let me just get them in there a little bit. And then a third one. Go ahead and take off all the dead leaves and just insert it in a diagonal. So you can see already we're getting some length here. The next step you want to do is you want to put in a focal flower. A focal flower is your showstopper. It's usually your biggest flower. Sunflowers work really nicely. I'm going to go ahead and use a lily because we found these beautiful fall colored lilies, and the focal flower generally goes somewhere in the center of the arrangement. We never put anything dead on center. We always want something a little to the left, a little to the right. So I'm going to give it a fresh snip, and I'm going to go ahead and insert it right in through the hydrangea, and there's my focal flower. Next, we're going to add something to make the arrangement look bigger. We call these mass flowers, flowers that are large and round. So we have a couple of Gerber daisies here. So again, I'm going to give it a snip so that it'll fit nicely in my vase. It might be a little bit too long. And I'm going to go ahead, and anywhere that there's a gap between my stock flowers, I'm going to go ahead and fill in with the mass flowers, the hydrangeas. Or fill in the mass flowers with the Gerbers through the hydrangeas. We just keep rotating it around, again using 3 flowers because we like things to look symmetrical. And we'll get our mass flowers in like so. And so this is a little bit too long. I always say floral design when you're cutting flowers is like a haircut. Cut small because you can keep cutting. You can't put the hair back on, you can't put the stem back on. So just keep cutting until you can get it real close to the hydrangea, because remember, we want it to be compact and we want it to look like the flowers are sitting right on top of our grid, which is our white hydrangea. And then next, we're gonna add something velvety, something interesting, and that's going to be our roses. And be careful, because roses do have lots of thorns on them, so I give them a cut. Again, pull off any dead flowers that aren't going to, that are gonna be underneath in the water, because it'll make the water rot very quickly. And then I'm just gonna start inserting them in some of my open spaces. The roses will continue to open as they're drinking the water, so they'll get bigger and bigger with each passing day. Here's a nice big one. We'll use this one. Pull off any dead leaves and just insert them in between your open spaces. So you can see it's coming along nicely. Now we need to add a little bit of interest to our arrangement, some texture, some interest. So we're gonna start with some tulips. A fun fact about tulips is tulips grow, even after they have been cut, they grow approximately 1 inch a day. So I'm going to cut these a little bit on the low side and tuck them in, but by tomorrow, they're gonna be 1 inch taller. So if you discover that your arrangement looks different the next day, you're not going crazy. It's because the flower is growing even though it's already been cut. And again, I am just inserting the tulips around in any of my empty spaces. Always the rule of 3. Always cut off all the extra foliage that you don't need. You don't want it in the water, and just tuck it into your spaces. So you can see it's coming along really nicely. But we still need a little more interest. So that's when we use greens and we use berries. So we have this green, or this red grevillea. This is called grevillea. Now we only need a couple of pieces, so I'm just gonna pull off a few sprigs, pull off a couple pieces so that I have enough of a stem to get in there. And again, I'm just gonna tuck in a few pieces. You can see right away it adds some really nice color, some really nice texture. And we'll just add maybe 2 pieces here, see what we think. And see if that fills it in enough. I think we could maybe add 1 more. Again, rule of 3, sort of can't ever go wrong with the rule of 3. So I'll just tuck in another little piece here. And then to add a little more texture, I'm gonna add a few pieces of green. We have some seeded eucalyptus. What I love so much about this is it always has this nice little droopy, hangy business, so that you can just tuck it into the edges of the arrangement so that you get some nice pieces draping over the side. So I'm just gonna cut a few pieces, insert them in, and we'll see what we think. It's coming along nicely. And we can also add a few berries. These are hypericum berries, but what I have noticed in Austin is you can go outside and most likely there's some form of nandina plant growing, which is an invasive species, and it puts out tons of berries. So you can go ahead and cut that up. You can grab nandina berries. Ligustrums put out some really nice fall berries, and those will also add some nice texture to your arrangement. So I'm just gonna tuck in a few berries here, put some on each side. And what's nice about adding a little bit of interest is, remember, it's a centerpiece. So people are going to be close, they're going to be looking at it. You wanna put something on each side because there's gonna be people looking at all sides of the arrangement. And the more interest, the more texture you put in there, the more interesting it is to look at as you're sitting there dining. Okay, so there we go. That's looking pretty good. Now the last thing we're gonna do is, the ACC has a sustainable agriculture farm, and they just recently grew a whole bunch of gourds. So we have some interesting shapes of gourds, and we're gonna add these into the arrangement. The easiest way to do this is you can take a piece of fruit or a gourd, and we use these floral picks in the floral world. You can get them at any of your local hobby store. And the floral picks usually have a wire on one side and it's a pick on the other, because we use these for different things. I don't really need the wire part for this, so I'm just gonna wrap it around the pick just to get it out of the way. And all you do is you just skewer right into your gourd. Oh, here's one that's finished. You just skewer right into the gourds that you have it on a stick. If you don't have these, a shish kebab skewer will work or a chopstick will work. So then you look through your arrangement and you see where you might have a gap. So here's my focal flower, so I don't really want to add it there because that's already showing the beauty of itself, and these two will continue to open. But I do notice that I have a little empty space on this side, so I'm going to just go ahead and insert my gourd right in to the center there, just to add a little bit of texture. And there you have your fall centerpiece. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you can use these step-by-step instructions to help you with some of your own holiday traditions with your friends and family. For info on floral design classes and any other continuing education courses we have, please check out austincc.edu/community. Happy holidays from all of us at ACC.